Welcome them. Maybe we shouldn't be telling that.
I am on leash.
Oh, it's just a really boring person.
He's the man with the problems, actually.
Let's start with phones, then clothes.
All right, so hey, hello everyone. Welcome to Strömstad. Some of you have been here already, some haven't. But it's, welcome to our recording of the Table 7 Christmas special, which airs 2 weeks before Christmas. We are already in the Christmas mood, I guess. Are you in the Christmas mood?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah?
Always, I think.
All right, great. So, there you go. So welcome to Table 7. I'm Michel Stevens, and today we're going to do something truly special because we're here live at the Dialogkonferensen in Sweden with an audience of customer experience professionals and recording our very first Christmas special. What a party that is!
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Oh, fantastic! Oh, that's so nice of you guys.
I thought it was a party last night. But
Yes, it was
thing.
very much a party last night. All right. So the concept remains the same, even though it's the Christmas special. We're sitting around a table and having an honest conversation about customer experience. But today's topic is a little bit different, since we are already in a very festive, mood. I would say we're going to talk about behavior and rituals and customs that shape customer interactions that we have. So basically, what makes customer buy, join, tick, stuff like that, right? I'm doing this with Dominic, with Mikkel, with Dimitri, and with Nancy. So let's dive into this Christmas conversation. And Dominic, can I start with a question for you?
Of course.
Yeah? All right, perfect. You're the Customer Insights and Marketing Analytics Manager at Pepco. But before Pepco, you were at some leading brands all over Europe. Maybe you can elaborate on that one or not. So, but you've seen retail from sports goods to furniture, home furnishing and stuff like that. And I was thinking, have you actually ever discovered some rituals that completely surprised you? Because I know that rituals is actually a cool thing to increase the sentiment that customers have, right? It's like the Oreo thing. A lot of people twist the Oreo, right? You twist the Oreo and you take one part off and another one, and that's how you eat Oreos, apparently. And apparently that stimulates the senses that you have. And I was wondering, do you have something like that as well? Have you ever experienced something like that?
Yeah, that's a super interesting question, and I wasn't ready for the Oreo metaphor. But but I say it has a point, especially from the perspective of how the data are packed. Like basically, when you look on the data streams, you can see like, okay, you have certain customers buying this or that, or they have certain behavior. And actually, one of the interesting points that I make, looking on the fact that we are in the Christmas edition, it's a gift-giving period. You could think that basically the gift-giving, it's only before the Christmas. Of course, it's more intensive, and then most of the companies are focusing on like the gift giving. And this is the point. Like basically all of the advertising, it's about, okay, wrap your gift, do this or do that. But actually, if you look at the patterns, the gift giving, it's a part of kind of always on layer. And I think it's a missed opportunity quite often for the many companies that we are targeting like the biggest events, forgetting about the group of the customers who are buying there on the daily basis. So it's very interesting to see that this specific group, if you go deeper, actually behave totally different than the regular customer. And then you can think how to segment the customer who is not buying for himself.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because you have, someone buying for your dad, someone buying for your man, for your woman, your partner, whatever. And then how to trigger the communication to that person if you don't know. So understanding this segment of the gift givers, gift buyers. It's very interesting, and I strongly recommend everyone to deep dive into these sections, not only from the commercial perspective, but also from the perspective of data and what does it tell us. And it can also be an extra income for your company.
Yeah, I remember that I was buying gifts for my lovely wife, of course, and all of a sudden I got things for beauty products and stuff like that, and hair products, which I obviously don't need. But yeah, so I tripped the algorithm to think that I was somehow hair-wearing man. Which I'm not.
Yeah, because it triggers you, because it treats you had certain behavior similar to the person buying this product, so the algorithms are thinking, okay, this is the guy who needs that, right?
Yeah, I do
think
need
you're a bit hairy.
What?
I think you're a bit hairy, but that's another thing.
Yeah. Well, there you go. You heard Mikkel. Mikkel, you're the CEO of Loyalty Group, and you've been working in customer centricity for how many years now?
Well, since 1992.
19. That's too difficult for me on...
Plus 30 years.
Thank you. Plus 30 years.
I was 3 then when he started.
Oh my goodness, man. Youngsters. Yeah, I was not that much older. But anyway, so your company has worked with hundreds of businesses across numerous markets. And you talk a lot about the gap between what management thinks and what is happening with customer centricity and what's actually happening on the front lines. And why do you think that gap actually exists, Mikkel?
Yeah, well, I think there's a concept that's called the Iceberg of Ignorance. And the idea is that the higher up in the organization, the less that part of the organization actually knows about what's really going on. And unfortunately, in different places, you know, there's a salesperson who gives a sales budget to his sales manager, and he inflates that a bit, and then, you know, gives it to the CFO because, you know, he needs to meet his budgets, and then that CFO actually puts that together with other inflated parts and shows that to the board of directors, and then everybody thinks everything is in order. But that's actually not the case. So there is a tendency, at least as I see it, that top management is basically just way too far from daily work and daily routines, and for that reason, you need to bring them there. I mean, the good companies that I know of, I remember a call center that in a pension fund that opened up Friday night for services. And the CEO was the first one to actually sit in and take a shift on that one. He didn't know much in terms of actually helping the customers, but he wanted to show that, of course, spending Friday night once in a while actually helping our customers is important. And if he wouldn't be the first to do it, that would definitely be an issue. And talking about this, yeah, there is a different types of things that are important, and I normally talk about 4 different areas. I can see on the slides that for some odd reason some of the text has disappeared, but I am pretty sure at least the audience in the room can remember. So the thing here is we talk about 4 different things. The organization's willingness, able to be willing to work, being more customer-centric, their ability to actually, they are skilled, I mean, so they are trained for, they have the systems to support them, and whatever. They are able, they are basically allowed to work on these things. And then also this is a cross-organizational, so a aligned effort as well. So willing, skilled, able, and aligned are 4 different things that I think is extremely important. Yeah. And then, of course, you need to catch that attention by showing the top management the money. Yeah. So this is important, and it is actually something that is really bringing good profits.
I'm going to come back to that one later on. Sure. Dimitri, Mikkel was talking about a CEO sitting in with the frontline staff. Immediately thought of you because you've experienced something like that as well at one of your clients. You're an independent customer experience trainer, and your mission is to help customer service organizations close the gap between customer promise and customer experience. Is that correct?
There we have the gap again.
Yeah, there we go. But if you had to teach someone just one principle, what that would immediately improve their customer service, what would that be like?
You know, there's an example I want to give. So, you know this saying where they say culture eats strategy for breakfast?
Yeah.
I have my own version of this. And you know, conversations eat processes for breakfast, and actually they eat technology for lunch. So I was sitting with a board of a big consumer bank in Belgium a couple of months ago, and we were listening in to random calls. It's a great exercise I recommend to any company to do. So there was this young father calling in. His wife just gave birth to their first child. And he was actually telling the customer service rep. He had been trying to open up a bank account for his newborn child, and they published the account number on the the cards you were handing out to family and relatives. But apparently, the account wasn't active yet. So he had published the account number. People were trying to give money for the newborn baby. But he wasn't sure if any money was getting on the account. He hadn't had any access to the account. So he's explaining this to the representative. And then the representative reacts, oh, yeah, but it's just standard procedure. It takes a couple of days. Just call us back in a couple of days and it should be okay. And then the customer goes, yeah, but this is the fourth time I'm actually calling. And, we're actually handing out this account number and people are sending money. Is the money there yet? Well, I'm not sure. Maybe not, but then they will get the money back. Yeah, but I just became a father, and we have all of these people sending us or wanting to sending us money. Yeah, but it can just take a couple of days. So the call ends, and it's very silent in the boardroom. And the customer service director says, whoa, I'm a bit ashamed here. And then the question is, how can that be? Why does such a thing happen? You have any ideas?
It's the process, I guess.
I don't know. Everybody was astonished. Everybody was like, it's a shame. And when doing research, they found that the same customer had called 3 or 4 times after that, and the bank account was still not activated. And the director told one of his board members, can you fix this? In 30 minutes, the problem was fixed. But again, how does it happen? What do you think would the representative tell us if we ask him, why didn't you do more? What do you guys think? I'm really curious.
I think he would say he would follow procedures.
The process is that the activation goes through step X, Y, Z, and our knowledge base, which most of the customer service departments have, says that this is the way it should work, so we're told to tell the customer this. Yeah, but still, he already told you we called 2, 3 times. Yeah, but I only get 5 or 6 minutes to finish this call. So why, if I start taking more time here, I'm getting my boss complaining to me that I'm not efficient enough. And that's a problem. That's a huge problem. Yeah. Because this customer, well, I'm not sure if he's still there. I'm not sure what he's going to tell his relatives. And still we have an employee thinking he's doing the right thing. Yeah. We have a board not being aware of this unless they are listening into this. And this conversation could also have gone a totally different way. What if the representative would have said, first of all, congratulations with your newborn baby.
Let's start there. Yeah.
Let me look into this. Oh, I see, actually you're in the activation process, but we're missing some information here. Let me check with our back office. Let me take the necessary steps. I think that's a huge problem. I think that most companies are not aware of this unless we are listening in. And I think that our fixation on certain KPIs, on certain procedures, on certain rules disables us from actually focusing on what really is important.
Humans, right? People. People is what makes things tick, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Talking about people, that brings me to you, Nancy. Nancy, you operate 7 McDonald's restaurants in Belgium,
Yes.
and I know you're going to hate me for it, but you recently won the L. Turner Golden Arch Award, which to you might not say anything, but that's the highest recognition a McDonald's franchisee can get worldwide. Only few people get it, so yeah. Let me congratulate you again on that one. That was truly something. Yeah, sorry for putting the spotlight on you like that. She's really going to kill me now.
Yes. You can't see what I'm doing under the table.
Yeah, well, you manage approximately 700 employees, and from an employee experience perspective, how do you create a consistent culture and rituals across multiple restaurants? I really wonder how you do that, because your staff behavior directly impacts customer behavior.
On one hand, I'm very lucky that the McDonald's customer doesn't care who I am. They don't come for me. When you go to a traditional restaurant, they come for the chef or for the hostess, or they want to say hi. That's not the case in McDonald's. However, the customer is very important to me because he pays the daily salaries. So I try to manage the restaurants by the principle of throwing a rock into a pond. You get these circles. These are my hands. I can tickle my crew, tickle them. I can hug my managers, I can embrace my store managers, and I keep my supervisors very close. So these people are my customers. I treat them the way I think they should be treated in order for them to treat the customer how they are being treated. So when we talk about culture of those people, we have so many nationalities and languages, so we try to keep it, how shall I say it, non-traditional. We do something for Christmas, but we don't call it Christmas, we call it winter. It's a winter event. We follow Valentine's Day is national, but Happiness at Work Week, Employee Satisfaction Week. We do the top topical calendar. We celebrate Bubble Week, and everybody gets bubbles. So we create these events that are interesting for both customers and staff. And when you get the staff on your side, you get the customer on your side, because a happy staff is a happy customer.
Yeah. I speak from personal experience that I once was invited to a romantic, and I stress that, a romantic dinner on Valentine's Day in a McDonald's restaurant, and that was one of the restaurants of Nancy. That was quite an experience.
We have Cupid, huh? We have a Cupid.
There was a Cupid serving us and everything.
It's my dad. But we do other activities for, we did one year for Valentine's Day that you can win a Valentine's dinner at home. So we would drive our little bus, we would set your table with tablecloth and candles and everything, and then you would get a McDonald's menu.
So cool. Yeah. So So there you go. You have 4 completely different perspectives here around this table. Retail analytics across multiple markets, loyalty, psychology, customer service training, and then franchise operations, and each of you sees how it works from your perspective, and I have so many follow-up questions on that one. So let me dive deeper into that one. Dominic, because we had a previous conversation, we know each other for quite some while now, and you mentioned that you operate in 19 markets, spanning from Estonia to, Portugal these days?
Like Italy.
Okay,
Spain,
okay. So when you're implementing a new technology like AI-powered recommendations, right? How do you account for the fact that different cultures might have completely different levels of affinity with these technologies? How do you accommodate that?
I think this is a super important topic because it actually adjusts the way you're approaching your customer, especially through technology. And what I see basically, even starting from the basic KPI, if you take NPS, let's say, the basic scoring, it's very much correlated, in general, like the national NPS, it's correlated with the life attitude of the people. So one nations are like more happy, and another one in general are less happy. So you cannot benchmark NPS across the countries that easily, because the average scoring in general is lower. You can see that contrast between like Europe and Asia, when you are just, it's just different, and it clearly comes one from another, that when you have, like when you're generally more pessimistic, then you will evaluate more pessimistically the experience within the store or within any other business. And what I'm aiming is like basically this also goes with how we approach the customer, the personalization part. For example, like there are countries that are more open, like Poland, Romania are quite happy with personalizing the content, discounts and everything. They like to play with this. While there are countries that are more conservative and they say, oh, whoa, whoa, watch out, I don't want this, I don't want too much, because then it's becoming like kind of, the effect is opposite that we wanted. So instead of selling, they're feeling like it's going too much into the wrong direction. So we need to really adjust the strategies. And the way to do it, and I believe it's the best one, is to do it in a small scale, test if this works, and then scale this up, rather than have like one-fits-all solution, because it never works if you operate in a diverse market.
That's a clever way to do it, to scale it. Dimitri, I know that you worked also across cultures. Do you see that also coming back in when you're doing work with employees all over, what is it, Europe and North Africa and Asia as well these days? Yeah, more or less.
If Turkey is Asia, yes.
Turkey is officially Asia, yeah. So that will also be a struggle when you work with employees and customer staff to accommodate those cultural differences, right? Or
well, how should I put it? Of course, there are many cultural differences, and of course, it's valuable to take them into account and to get a deeper understanding of why certain nationalities, religions, subcultures behave differently, have different expectations. But I'm a big believer in some basic skills that actually cross all borders and all cultures. I think there is a huge lack in basic listening. And you know, on this conference, a lot of speakers have talked about the importance of listening, but I may add listening without judgment. You know, we listen, and quite often we listen because we want to get across our message, our belief. In customer service specifically, a lot of customer service reps are trained or think their job is to judge the customer. You know, we want to judge if he's right or wrong. We want to judge if he's messing with us or if he's being honest with us. And that mindset disables our listening skill. We're not listening, we're judging. It destroys connection. It destroys everything that creates value within customer experience.
So it's basically about listening to understand, not necessarily to reply. That's
well, if you want to get the right reply, listen first.
Yeah.
And empathy is also such a buzzword in what we do. Well, it requires listening, and it requires being conscious of our judgment and then being able to just put it aside. You know, that is one of the hardest things to do. And I think across all cultures and across all differences between people, that basic skill and just that open mind is the key. And then becoming sensible about certain differences and sensibilities is an extra step. You could make it a pyramid, right? But it starts with listening.
Right. All right. Well, Mikkel, you were already thinking, I saw that. But when it comes to customer centricity, are there principles that are universal, or does everything need to be localized to work effectively?
I mean, some of the effects, when we talk about loyalty, there are some universal points here. If you want to create strong relationships, strong loyalty, you would need to build both what we would call rational and emotional loyalty. So rational loyalty would be, I need to be relevant, attractive to the alternatives. So that kind of idea is important, and that's what most businesses is about. You know, giving out good prices or discounts or something like that. So I'm more attractive than you are. For that reason, they will buy from me. That's how we can attract customers or bring customers over. But what will keep customers and what is much more sticky is the emotional part of things. So when I start creating an emotional bond, some brands has that, I mean, default. And some brands can actually build that. I mean, with McDonald's, you can have a certain, whatever, brand identity and way of working. But if you tumble into one of Nancy's restaurants and suddenly you experience dads running around shooting arrows and, you know, all kinds of stuff, that's sort of like, I want to go there next time. I mean, not the other McDonald's, I want to go there. And that's when we talk about, sorry for saying commodity, but if you're talking about a commodity product that can be bought a lot of places, then suddenly it's the wrapping that actually comes in play. That's the part that is important. So loyalty equals emotional and rational focus. That's one part. I want to mention cultural. So Japan. Have any of you actually been in Japan at a gas station? Right, yes. Okay. So the point, just for listeners, the point is that if you go to Japan and you drive your car into a gas station, there will be people all over the place, like in, you know, Formula One, the pit, when you drive in with the race car, and there's all kinds of people jumping on your car, cleaning your windshields, you know, putting on gas, all kinds, and you're just there for gas, nothing, not car cleaning or anything, but they're all over the place. And when you're finished, there'll actually be a guy who stands in the driveway to the gas station, stopping the traffic so you can get out in the morning traffic. This is actually nothing special in Japan. I mean, that's part of a culture. So if you're a Japanese driving to take gas, that would just be, yeah, that's how we, you know, get gas here.
The usual.
I'm pretty sure none of our Scandinavian listeners would have any kind of resemblance of getting into a gas station somewhere in Norway, Sweden, or Denmark or somewhere, and having people falling onto the car, doing all kinds of stuff. Instead, it's, well, you can do it yourself. And so that service in Japan is default. That kind of service in a gas station in Scandinavia would bring, I think, a lot of customers coming in again. At least that's my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to follow you on that, Mikkel. Rational loyalty, that's what I have McDonald's for. I don't have to worry about that one. But I invest heavily in the emotional part. The emotional loyalty of workers and the emotional loyalty of customers.
Yeah, and that's sometimes hard work.
Yes.
Right.
But it's the sticky part.
It's the sticky part.
The neighbor can lower the prices and then you're not as attractive. So rationally, you're not as attractive. But if I really truly love your brand, if I love being with you, I mean, I'll accept, actually Howard Business School put out that loyal customers will be able to pay a premium price of somewhere between 5 and 15% above normal price just to be with the company that they love.
Yeah. Nancy, I know that McDonald's is known for its diverse workforce. Mm-hmm. How do you balance efficiency with this diversity? I mean, because in fast food, every second counts, but you also need your team to create a positive a customer emotional experience, and because to generate that emotional loyalty. How do you train for that?
Okay, first of all, inclusiveness is such a buzzword also in the McDonald's world. Balance is something that's out of the question. I'm very sorry, but you choose for something. In McDonald's, everything is timed. So maybe you know or you don't know, but from the moment you get your ticket at the kiosk And the moment you get your order delivered on the table, we get 90 seconds. That's it. We're measured on that. So if you want to be an inclusive company, then you need your people. Put your people first. Make sure, like I have a deaf girl working for me. I have somebody with one arm working for me. He's a lot faster in the kitchen than I am, probably because it says more about me than about him. But you need your other staff to support that, because there comes a time when they have to do the extra mile. So it's a conscious choice you make. And you do because you either want to, and you say, well, those times, I don't care about them. Or you discuss this with your staff up front, and you say, this is going on. Are you willing to train this person furthermore, yes or no? I do want to add to that, since we're talking about customer experience, that for me, in the restaurant, there is no just one customer experience. Like, I flew in here. The flight itself was great. There was no turbulence. But when I got on, I saw the little plane, the engine was making noise, and I was sweating already, and I was saying, oh my God, I'm going to die on this plane. The service was excellent, but I got off, I texted him, I almost died.
Yes, I got yelled at.
But not because the experience or the service they gave me was bad, but because of my own beliefs and convictions and background. So when you're working with customers, either they are real clients or your workers, first of all, every customer experience will be influenced by their behavior. Perfectly trained or not, but if they leave the house in the morning with a huge fight with their kids or something else, the customer service will be affected. The same for the customer. I was affected. I heard, I thought there's a helicopter, but it was the engine. So we just have to make sure that we give our people the tools to give the best possible service they can at any time, disrespecting all of that's going on at home, but also for the customer, that they can benefit from our service in the most best circumstances. So for me, that means my restaurant needs to be clean, fully staffed, temperature, very important, because we have a very difficult air conditioning system. But it's very important in McDonald's that we are aware of how this conditioning system works. Playgrounds for children. Big playground, small playground. I have every school holiday, I organize crafts workshops in the restaurants, because I need to entertain these children. In the past, these children would come to McDonald's for this playground, but they're not coming for that anymore. The older playgrounds are far more competitive and have nicer games, so we have these interactive tables, but we need to do extra stuff all the time. And you need to make it work as a team, because everybody is different in that team.
Yeah, yeah. It's one big family.
It is one McFamily.
Yeah.
That's my license plate, McFamily. Very sorry.
We will add evidence to the show notes of this podcast. So, well, you were talking about reading the cues, and it brought me to you, Dimitri. When you're training a customer service teams, how do you teach them to read behavioral cues in real time? Because that's what's going on, right? You have somebody on a phone. You have to analyze in real time what's going on here, and especially when you might be dealing with customers from different cultural backgrounds.
We vastly underestimate how difficult that actually is, because we have people taking these calls or chat sessions, sometimes more than one at the same time, which is crazy. And we want them, to create great customer experiences. That's hard, because you need to be aware of the emotion a customer has. Let's talk about our new father again. How would he have felt, do you think, when calling? I mean, he doesn't care about the account number as such. He cares about the time and the energy he's losing, wasting his energy on a shitty problem instead of spending this time with his family. He's already thinking about how will I be able to tell my mother-in-law that we didn't receive the money and that there's a problem with the bank account and she will probably think I'm a failure. And then I will need to ask her if she can please send the money again. And that times 30 for all of the people that have been trying this. So customers are not stressing about the actual practical problem they're calling us for. They are stressing because of the consequences this practical problem has into their lives. And we need to train customer service representatives that are able to understand that are able to, when they're listening to this new father, oh my God, this person, he's in a very difficult situation. It's not about the account number. He's losing energy and time in one of the most important periods of his life. It's my mission now to make sure that he can enjoy his time and energy as a new father with his family, and I take this out of his hands. That's quite an intellectual and empathetical challenge.
And emotional.
And it's an emotional burden on the shoulders of the employee as well. So all of this complexity, there's three principles, three basic needs we train employees in. There's a practical need, an emotional need, and the need for what we call a low-effort experience. That's not rocket science, but making employees aware of this and just enabling them into doing whatever is necessary to respond to these needs. That's like the basic pillar of great customer service. Again, beyond any cultural differences, this is universal. And we already talked about the listening part. It starts with listening. It starts with consciously listening into these needs. And then the right behavior will establish itself as a consequence.
Right, right. Just a thought here, both in customer service but also in other places. I think that we are at a crossroad where it could be interesting to talk about what customers are looking for. Is it time well saved? The frictionless, easy, quick way of ordering something. I mean, I just want my hamburgers, give it to me. Or is it actually time well spent? Because I know of a lot of different industries where you definitely not want to be going out the door as soon as possible. If you were going to a 3-star Michelin restaurant, I'm pretty sure the experience would be much different if you were like in and out in 30 minutes. That's not what you're paying for. I mean, perhaps they could serve you in 30 minutes, but that's not what we're looking for. If you go into a luxury hotel, it's not just to have a bed to sleep in. I mean, it's actually a lot of other things around that. So are we looking for time well saved or time well spent? I think that's a choice also companies and brands need to talk about. The idea, I mean, if we want you to stay, spend time with us, it should be educational. If it's customer service, technical service, I could understand one guy who, listen, I have a problem, please help me out. Yes, press X, Y, and Z, and then you're done. Thank you very much, I'm off. And the other guy needs to understand why it's X, Y, and Z. So you need to spend 5 minutes with him talking about this, and this is X, and this is Y, and this is how we do Z. And for that reason, I understand that. The other guy, I would be the first one. I just need the problem fixed. I don't care about this tech thing, so I just want it fixed. Help me out as quick as possible in that situation, where others would like to understand so they don't need to call anymore.
To you, it's not about the problem. You just want to proceed whatever you were doing, and that should be the focus of good service.
I'll comment on that one in the McDonald's experience. Our logo used to be yellow and red. There is a very specific reason why. Because that color combination gives you stress. It has been scientifically proven that the color combination, yellow and red, gives you stress. You want to get out, you want to get out. You eat, and that was our concept. So our logo has changed to green and yellow. Far more relaxing, and we have spent millions on table service because we want to give the customer the experience of going out, spending time, and being somewhere they want to be. It's just not, it is also about the grab and go. But we have shifted so far away from the fast food experience that we talk about restaurant experience.
Yeah, I agree. I've noticed that since they asked me, do you want me to bring it to the table? I said, like,
Yes.
come on, it's not the McDonald I actually
No.
know. So yeah, you could see that.
We also, behind the scenes, we operate more as a regular restaurant. Before we used to have the bins, just put them full with burgers and we'll see what happens. Now we made an order on command. Like you order, then we'll start making it to have more quality and freshness. So we operate more like a regular restaurant.
I just read an article with the Wall Street Journal. The CEO of Starbucks has decided to close down, I think it was 79 pickup Starbucks shops in the US. So basically they were only for you ordering online and then picking up your stuff, not the regular kind of a Starbucks that we normally would see. But they say this is not we have now decided this is not in line with the experience that we want to give to our guests, our customers. So we are closing down that project again. So basically making sure that when you get your coffee, it needs to be with some kind of experience around that. It's not just a pickup thing.
It's probably because the expectations of our customers have changed a lot. Customers who come in at McDonald's expect human interaction.
But you know what? I've been reflecting on that because it might have like it's double-sided sword. Because is it like the customers of McDonald's have changed, they want more, or it's like the environment who shape different expectations? And I think it's also not like, okay, when I went for the first time to the hairdresser and I got my espresso served there, I was like, whoa, that's mind-blowing. They give espresso and it's just the hairdresser. And now I went to another one nowadays, and he didn't give me espresso. And I was like, this is not a good hairdresser.
Yes.
So lack of dissatisfaction doesn't mean satisfaction. And I think like following what you said, it's like I'm thinking about these people who once Starbucks coffee have served quickly. So should they leave? And it's also about like finding what you said, like we still do it, but we are focusing on something else. So not to forget about the people who simply like it, because if you want to be for everyone, you need to cover both with some priorities, of course, adjusting to the times, right?
You need to balance it
Yeah.
because you want to address all types of customers you have. Exactly. But some customers want the full experience and some just want to go quickly.
I don't know if I can say this, but if not, we're going to cut it out. But there is this cool experiment that is running at a very large fast food chain, when there is a table with multiple people, so not solo people who are eating solo, but multiple people, and you proactively clear the table, so when they're finished eating and you take away their trash, that there is a much more higher likelihood that they will actually eat a dessert afterwards, because they have that mental burden released, that we don't have to care about clearing the table, and now we eat a dessert. Yeah, I can.
Yes,
I can tell.
Of course, you can tell.
We don't have to cut that. Great. Yeah. But those are small triggers, and that is also the staff reading what's going on, right? Is that somebody who will stay, or is that somebody who won't stay for dessert? Yeah.
Can I throw in a curveball here? I was just thinking about a curveball, you know. Yeah. So the point here is we've been working with Jambé Group, the five-star luxury hotel chain out of Dubai. I celebrated my 50 years birthday there, so I went there with my wife. I made sure that in the reservations they knew that we were coming, and I shouldn't be actually telling them because I think they know, but just to be very clear, I said, yeah, well, I have my 50th birthday to celebrate with you. And we arrived at the hotel. I mean, they're really, really good, just for reference. But they arrived, we were greeted, the receptionist checking us in said, so congratulations, and I said thank you very much, so I was recognized, that's good. And we went to the hotel room, and the hotel room was full of cake, balloons, flowers, candies, all kinds of stuff, and a greeting card, a handwritten greeting card, you know, really top of the line, right? And the greeting card stated, happy anniversary, happy 50 years anniversary. We wish you and your wife a life of happiness. And I was like, listen, guys, I mean, I'm turning 50 and you are celebrating my 50th birthday. I'm not sure if it's a cultural thing, but at that time I wasn't married. So yeah, so even the best five-star luxury hotels can have all the data in the world and can have all kinds of initiatives in place. But if somebody sort of misinterprets something somewhere in that data, in the handwritten note, then it becomes a bit funny.
So it goes to when the input is bad, the outcome.
Yeah, but I actually think they have all the right input. I think there was somebody who was perhaps a bit stressed when he wrote the handwritten note or something. I'm not sure.
But we shouldn't underestimate the strength of handwritten notes.
No.
I was in a restaurant in Antwerp once, and the food was really not so good. But the atmosphere was great. And then the waiter came with the bill in a handwritten envelope. Hi, because we were with an English company. Hi, it's so nice to have you here. I hope you enjoy the service. And I started thinking, the engines went on. So now I have in my McDonald's restaurants 12 different kinds of handwritten cards that we hand out to customers randomly. Sometimes we don't, some days we don't. But the reactions you get from customers when they receive this is amazing. It's really amazing. Because you see it's handwritten, it's actually a copy.
But do you print the handwritten cards? Or you're just really...
No, I hired somebody to write them. And then I printed them. Yeah. But it looks like a handwritten card. And then we offer it, and we say, we just want to thank you for being with us today.
Wow. Yeah. That's why you got this golden arch, I guess.
Yeah, but actually, you're actually right. All right, I wish I was in the. I wish I was in the audience actually with all those insights. What a party!
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Yeah, okay, so everybody got it. The trigger was party. There is always a party here at the Dialogkonferensen in Strömstad. Table 7 has taken us across, has taken me across Europe. And we have built, because some of you have been on before, we have built an incredible community of customer experience professionals. So I thought, what a better way to celebrate our Christmas special than to bring some of these people back. So I've reached out to some previous guests and I've asked them, hey, I have these 4 people at the table. Are there questions that you would like to ask them? So if you're talking about curveballs, here we come. I'm gonna see. So we have these 4 fantastic people who are going to ask you a question. And it was actually Janine Hess who has the first question, and it's one for you, Nancy.
I was not prepared for this one.
You're well, so good luck. Janine was on the episode in Norway, and so here you go.
Nancy, many people focus on automation on McDonald's, like the ordering kiosks and mobile app, and the connection with the customer experience. But how much does the behavior of the staff actually influence customer behavior? What do you think?
A lot. Next question? No. We have gone with McDonald's really far for automation. We had like automatic grills and frying machines, and then AI for taking the orders on the drive. And we went back from it. It's not what the customer wants. It's not what the customer expects. The customer expects to see a face. Our kitchens have been closed 5-6 years ago. We built walls so there would not be interaction. No, the customer wants to see us. The customer wants to talk to us. The person, even though we timed it, sometimes the interaction with the customer takes 3 seconds. Smakelijk, enjoy your meal, have a good day. But the way you say this says it all. And maybe it's not just verbally, but the body language. Like, I was in a very expensive ship once. I was invited. But the staff, hello, how are you doing? And they just went on. And sometimes, hello, how are you doing today? It makes a difference. So body language, verbal language, all that, but also the way you look. If I come out with my dirty uniform and like that, people will notice I'm not in the mood to work. So it's the interaction is very important. It is what you say, how you say it, how you act. And we have wanted to take automation very far, but we came back from it.
All right, so thank you for that.
No problem.
Yeah, there was a curveball, I know. Dominic, here you go. Another guest from Norway, Janneke Drengert-Veding from our episode in Norway, has a question for you. Yeah, are you ready? All right. There you go. Janneke.
Hi, Dominic. So you work with data and insight. My question to you is, how do you measure whether behavioral interventions are actually working? And what metrics matter?
Good luck with that one.
But I just want to say all of the metrics matter. No, but maybe I can focus basically, of course, what you discuss is a starting point that first of all you need to check if the sales goes well. And I think it's the starting point so we can have, I don't know if you had this situation, actually I wanted to ask, have you ever faced a situation that you have very good experience scoring and very bad selling results?
Yes.
Actually, I did see such example, and it was connected with the fact that they were measuring the things that were not impacting the sales in terms of the experience, and actually they did not check people who left without purchase. So actually they didn't see the negative impact because they didn't ask the right people for the opinion, so people left with the wrong opinion, and the ones who were positive about experiences, they left positive ones. That's why what I love about is to check, going really into the rabbit hole of data, then you end up with, okay, you have the customers who had a claim. And then you check, okay, so what happened with this customer? What was his after purchase behavior, after claim behavior? What was his scoring of the claim resolution? And then you suddenly realize that there is something in people who had a claim, and if the claim was scored negatively, they stopped buying. But you really need to get into the rabbit hole in order to close the loop, find these people, prevent from churn. So it requires really solid foundation to understand the basics, and then you try to peel the onion, actually to find the real root cause. So answering the questions, I believe it's going into the right KPIs, to the right direction, looking for the things that's actually preventing or making customers leaving your company. And I think this is the holy grail of all of the companies, but some of them, unfortunately, they are staying on the top level, thinking that, yeah, we are good, well done us. Yeah, but then you suddenly spend twice more for the marketing, which is not that effective, to bring the new ones to cover the gap.
Yeah, you need to connect things, absolutely. Okay, so Mikkel, I have one for you as well. I have hold on, that's wrong. Yeah, I have Bartek Lechowski. He was on our episode in Poland together with you, Dominic. So he's from the other side of Europe, and here is his question for you.
Mikkel, you often talk about the gap in management perception and reality. How do you convince leadership to invest in behavioral economics approaches when the ROI might not be immediately obvious?
I'm going to wish you good luck on that one as well.
Thank you. I need to translate this behavioral economics thing. I normally call it customer centricity, but that's okay, as long as everybody understands. So the point is, how do you prove the business value? I mean, catch the attention, and basically you need to show the money. You need to prove that it is worth investing time and money, because otherwise all the work around being customer centric basically falls into the basket of nice to have. I mean, it's nice to do this as long as we can afford, as long as we have the time, but as soon as for some reason times get a bit hard, then that actually changes everything. So for about 99% of all Scandinavian companies, you would need to make that proof. You need to make that argument. But I was thinking again of this Jambé group. The global strategy director was at a conference once with us, and he did his presentation. And after the presentation, one from the audience said, so thank you very much, great presentation. Could you please tell us, how do you persuade management to do all this stuff that you talk about? You know, how do you argue for that? And he said, sorry, I didn't understand your question. So she very politely, she was Scandinavian, she repeated the question one more time, and he replied then, yeah, well, I did understand the words, but I did not understand why you were asking that question. Because at our end, at Jambé Group, it's not about convincing management to spend time and money on these things. Actually, if we don't, we get fired. So the point here is that that company, that culture has been built around creating extraordinary customer experiences. So for that reason, this is a budget. I mean, this is budget allocated. Whereas in many other companies, we need to, steal the money from a marketing budget or a whatever tech budget or something, and suddenly customer centricity becomes either a technology or a marketing gimmick of some kind.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Well, that was actually a very good take on. Well, great. Cool.
You're surprised?
Well, no, I'm not surprised. I'm just like, I threw you a curveball, and well, you came around. Well, maybe I threw you a snowball. Yeah, that's maybe it. Sorry, bad jokes. So Dimitri, I also have. Hold on. I'm struggling with my slides here. Hold on. We're gonna get there. There we go. All right, so I have Daniel Granja Baltazar. He wanted to be here in Strömstad. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here. He couldn't join us. Nevertheless, he has a question for you.
All right.
Hi, Dimitri. In our digital age, are we losing some of the human behavioral cues that used to guide customer interactions? And if so, how do we compensate for that? Ciao.
Ciao. Yeah. Yeah. Ciao. Yes. We've been here at this conference, and many talks are a lot about technology and digital and e-commerce, and that's great. I mean, I'm a techie myself. I love technology. I buy most of my stuff digitally. And the more digital it all gets, the more valuable this human connection gets. And the more value people tend to perceive in this human connection. So what I would advise to organizations is to make sure that you invest in these human touch points. Of course, digitize whatever can be digitized, and invest in technology to make things easier and more frictionless and more efficient. But make sure that, especially when things go wrong, that there is a human ready to take over. And give this human ownership, space to do the right things in the right way. That is key, because again, one good conversation can make up for a messed up process. One bad conversation can kill even the best process. And only if we allow people, if we train them and we inspire them with our own behavior as leaders to do the right thing, to have a good conversation, really listen, then I think we can reap all of the advantages of digital and technology, but use them to add value. If we think the technology in itself will solve everything, we're up for disaster, and we will get a lot of problems. So if we invest €1 in technology, let's make sure we invest €1 in enabling our people to deliver great human interactions, and then it'll be a win-win-win situation. I'm very much convinced of that.
I saw that Nancy was very much in agreement.
I am in agreement. I'm not a tech person. I am the online queen of shopping. That's something, so I never interact when I'm shopping. But I see a craving for social interaction with my customers, but also with the work people. Nowadays, a lot of people are working from home all day long. Very nice, but they come for me for a second job. I need social interaction. I need to be able to talk to somebody during the day. I need to be here because you have all these people coming over. I need to say hi. I feel so isolated at home.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. This has been a fascinating conversation. I think we could all go on for at least 1 hour. At least.
We've done it once.
In Poland we did one for 3.5 hours. So yeah, we had to cut that down. Geert, who is been
scare the listeners.
a great. No, hold on. It was actually no. Hold on. We cut it down. I think Geert, who has been a faithful and sound engineer and video engineer, who really made that one happen. He had a hell of a job to cut that one down to bite-sized chunk. So thank you for that as well, Geert. This has been a fascinating conversation. And this is not me. There you go. It says, Michel, let's go. We are hungry. Now, this has been a fascinating conversation. I want to thank you also for the extraordinary year that we've had with the podcast. It took us to Denmark and Poland and Bulgaria and Belgium and Norway and now here in Strömstad. And I want to I'm very grateful for the borders that I've crossed with you, the audience and the listeners and the viewers as well. So thank you, Dialogkonferensen. Thank you very much for believing in us. Thank you for the audience that was here today and our very first Christmas special. I know that sound engineers, they were so pissed at me when I threw them a snowball this morning. Said, oh, there is sound in my presentation. They nearly killed me. But thank you so much. Have a great day. Have a very good end of year. Merry Christmas to you all.
Thanks for having us, Michel.
Feel like I could swim across the sky.